Okey-dokey. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Bennington Select Board meeting. It is Monday, February 27th, our last meeting before town meeting and voting next week, which is fantastic. We're in the multi-purpose room, third floor. So, first of all, I guess I'll say hi. I'm Jeannie Jenkins. I have the pleasure of chairing this board. And I'll ask my fellow board members to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Gary Corey. Good evening, I'm Tom Haley.
Hi, I'm Jim Carroll.
Good evening, I'm Jean Connor.
Hi, Sarah Farron.
And I'm Bruce Lee Clark.
Lovely. And also with us tonight, we have Town Manager Stu Hurd. We have Nancy Lively, who takes excellent minutes every single meeting. And we have Cat TV and Josh Boucher staffing the camera. So, we don't have, okay. So we'll start as we always do with the Pledge of Allegiance. Jim, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jim. And now, Jean, would you read our vision statement that guides us in all our work?
Of course. Bennington is a welcoming, engaged, inclusive, resilient community where everyone, regardless of identity, shares in our vitality and benefits from an outstanding quality of life.
Thank you. All right, so moving on to the consent agenda. For the purposes of discussion, could I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you both. Any discussion on either the warrants or the minutes? No? Can I just ask about the salt delivery? So $78,000 for salt. How long does that last us?
Well, it depends on the storms that we get. I can't remember the exact price we're paying. It's something like $79 to $80 a ton. And that probably fills the shed, potentially get us through the winter if only we have 2 or 3 more storms left.
Okay, all right. So
we're in good shape on salt only because we've had such a warm and kind winter.
Great, okay. Seeing no other discussion, all those in favor of accepting the consent agenda, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? No? Okay, great. All right, so we're going to move to public comment. We have 3 people that have signed up, and I'm having trouble reading some of the writing tonight. So first up is Nancy White to speak on something and senior. Sorry, did I get that one wrong too?
I'm left-handed, it's water and sewer.
Water and sewer, okay.
Nancy White, Bennington. First, I have a public service announcement. This is a copy of our annual town report. It's what Vermonters used to get every year, read and hang on to. It's how you keep your local select board and town officials accountable for spending and projects and programs. So I urge citizens, go to the town office, pick up your free copy, read it, and hang on to it. I understand why we're doing the sewer line replacement on Bennington County, but I don't understand what we're actually paying for it. In September, you awarded a bid of nearly $1 million, I think to Casella. Does that include the work still left to be done? How much did we pay town employees on County Street? Did that come out of the budget or the sewer reserve?
The work that was done on County Street by town employees is paid out of either the highway fund or the sewer fund, depending on what they were doing. We assisted Casella in laying down the surface that you now have in order to make County Street passable throughout the rest of the winter. Otherwise, Casella was hired to do the sewer line replacement. Part of the project ultimately discovered there were several lead line services there. Those lead line services are being paid out of a different bucket, the lead line service bucket, which doesn't cost us anything. It's fully reimbursed. Otherwise, the sewer replacement project has gone fairly well, except winter weather threw us kind of a monkey wrench and slowed the project down. But we anticipated that we would be paying for sidewalk replacement along that section of street anyway, and part of that would have been some drainage and pavement work anyway, and that is proposed to be done by the town come springtime. So yes, town employees assisted to get that road back into good shape.
So are we going to go over $1 million for the sewer line replacement?
Not from Casella's point of view, but we knew we were going to be investing money in the surface repairs and replacements. So, yes.
But we don't know how much over the 900,000 it's going to cost. I'm just talking the sewer line.
I don't know those figures. I don't have them on the top of my head, Nancy, but we have sufficient funds in the budget to do the work we need to do.
So it's coming out of the budget and not the sewer reserve?
That's correct.
And did anybody ever post on the town website the long list of water and sewer projects you received over a year ago?
I believe all of the ARPA projects were posted on the website at the time that they were being discussed. Whether it's still up, I don't know that.
It looks like they were gone by March. So again, for a water and sewer bond, knowing that we've got $20 to $25 more million worth of work to do, and there wasn't any discussions or explanations, I hope people vote the bond down and make sure you get real discussions, because I think we have priorities that should be done first that aren't in that bond next week.
Thank you, Nancy. Yes, Bill Karas, you're up next, and I don't know what WX tabling is either.
Weatherization.
Okay.
My name is Bill Karas. I'm the chair of the Bennington Energy Committee, and next week the Energy Committee hopes to table at town meeting with a set of resources for home weatherization. It's a pretty complicated environment with many different organizations pitching many different programs, all of which are great, but serve different purposes and different members within the community, from low income, moderate income, market rate, homeowners, renters, and landlords. And it's a tricky environment to navigate, and the Energy Committee will table with resources from 4 different organizations: Brock, Neighbor Works, Heat Squad, Window Dressers, and Efficiency Vermont, to try to help the community find an option that works for them.
Great. We're very happy that you're doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is this a question? Yes. Oh, yes, please.
Bill, so should people get to town meeting early to be able to access the information, or how's that going to work?
Good question. Yeah, as people enter and leave, we will be posted up and are happy to connect with them, hand out resources, field questions, and help folks fill out applications as they see fit. I don't want to be a distraction, so perhaps before and after would probably be the best time to complete some of this work.
And I'm thinking, yeah.
Just to clarify, our meeting follows at 7 o'clock or directly after the Southwest Tech, if that goes long.
Yeah.
Generally, they don't go long, so there should be time in between the 2 meetings where Bill and his folks can be available to people.
And so Southwest Tech is also a captive audience.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, and then Jenny Dewar, and I can read your handwriting, downtown.
Hi, I'm Jenny Dewar, and my title is still the Executive Director for the Better Bennington Corporation, but it is soon to change to Director of Events. I have asked my board to split my position into 2, as the Select Board knows, because we've introduced so many new events that it just makes sense to have 2 of us there, and the more we've talked about it, the more we're like, should have happened a long time ago. So I'm very excited about it. We are in the process of searching, so we'll keep you updated on that. Shallot, Still, and Lemon is not what I'm looking for. That would be the grocery list. Okay. So, I guess there was some confusion that I was leaving. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just creating even more events because, you know, that's what I like to do.
Jenny?
Let's get people downtown. Yes.
So now with another person on board, you'll be able to do twice the number of events?
No, because I'm, no. So the way it's working is, so the structure used to be executive director and administrative assistant. And so when my administrative assistant left in the summer of last year, I decided not to hire a new one because I wanted to actually do all the work to actually see what I needed help with. And the conclusion I came to is that we didn't need that structure. We needed 2 people in higher pay grade positions. And the way we're making it happen is that I offered to the board to take a pay cut. So it doesn't affect our budget to do this. They're coming in at even funding as me. And I'm taking a very substantial pay cut to do that. So no, we won't be doubling the number of events because I'm not going to go from working 40 hours a week to 60. But I am adding events this year. So you'll see. Some are coming. Some people you know about. Some you'll see. One of the things I'm adding is, so I've started doing these pop-up events, and we rent a store from the Putnam folk. It's at 341 Main Street, and they've gone so well, and the best days were Saturdays, so I decided, with talking to the vendors, that instead of doing a bunch that are a few days, for all of March and April, we're going to be there every Saturday from 11 to 6. So that's 341 Main Street. It's right across from the W Collective, and that starts this Saturday. Vendors will shift because they can't all do all of them, but we will have vendors. So I'm trying to get people to come downtown during mud season and this kind of yucky time of the year. Come downtown, come to the pop-up, go shopping downtown, go eat at our restaurants, have a drink, make Saturday a thing, downtown Saturdays. So that's the pop-ups. That is an addition, Jim. Mayfest and Harvest Fest, the apps are available. I have one application for both. You can apply for one or the other or both at the same time. So reach out to me if you want that at director@betterbennington.com, and the address will change to events@betterbennington.com at some point this week. The director will still find its way to me. Thursday Night Live is coming back this year. We can't apply for the Better Places grant for it because you can't do that twice in a row, so we'll be doing more direct fundraising for it. I'm only doing 7 of them because we have other things happening. One got semi-confirmed today, but I'm going to hold off on talking about that one. And Hemmings is going from 4 to 5. So we have a lot of stuff going on downtown. I also have some stuff Saturday mornings that you'll hear about soon for the summer. So watch out for fundraising for Thursday Night Live, and it's actually going to be fundraising for paying all of the entertainers. The police rate has gone up this year, so it's $63 an hour versus $55 an hour, which is very, very substantial for us, especially with Mayfest and Harvest Fest. So I need to raise money to pay the entertainers because, as we all know, I don't ask people to give away their art for free. And speaking of art, you have a resolution in front of you that Stu will talk about later. I won't be here, so I'm going to speak to it a little bit right now. We are going for a Better Places grant for the new street banners. Our street banner project is soliciting art from students from elementary school all the way through college. The art will be juried and chosen pieces. We think it's going to be 48 pieces. We're still debating whether we're going to have duplicates, but I don't think so. So we'll select 48 pieces to go on banners, and if we get this grant, then the artists will be awarded $100 downtown dollars for having their art chosen to be on the banners. So do you have questions about that? Because you do have a resolution to talk about later.
I have just a really quick one. What schools or what?
All of SVSU.
SVSU, and then homeschooled kids.
All the homeschooled kids, all the kids in the independent schools, anyone in the Bennington area. The theme is Bennington, whatever that means to you. So even if Shaftesbury kids are turning in art, the theme is Bennington.
Gotcha.
So, but we are soliciting from all, especially the homeschool, everyone, all kids.
Wonderful.
And I mean, not all students are kids. So all students. Any other questions on that? And then what we'll be going for Better Places, we've been preliminarily accepted to do it, but we're doing a $4,500 crowdfunding where they'll match us at $9,000 because it's double matching to what we raise. So watch out for that, and everybody please donate, and that's going to be Adopt a Banner, and people who donate at a certain level at the end of the 2 years of the banner's life, because they don't last forever, those who have adopted a banner at that level will get a banner. The first 48. Any other questions? Super. Thanks, you all.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. We appreciate your energy. All right. So next up is implementing the town vision, and we have actually two things under this. A CPARB update, and then we have the Bennington Police Department update that Cam Grandy is going to do for us. Yes. So Kelly, Tom, do you want to tee that up? Or?
Sure. I'd just really like to introduce Kelly Carroll, who's the chair of the CPARB.
Hi, thank you. I just wanted to let you know that CPARB had a retreat on Saturday with Brian Corr, who is from the Cambridge Consulting Services Group. And we talked a lot about community outreach and different types of outreach that we can, maybe start to do, which I thought was really good, especially as part of a multi-member body. So the importance of, working together, not going off independently and everything. So that was really helpful. Our next meeting is March 16th. And during that meeting, we hope to have discuss our goals and maybe a possible location for a June 24th listening session that we're going to be doing. And also, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that we do have a comment section on our website, which is under CPARB on the new town website. So if anybody does have any comments or questions, they're able to submit that, and that will come in directly to me, and I will do my best to get back to you as timely as possible. I do want to let you know also that we talked a little bit about how we would start to review cases and make recommendations, being that we're not an accountability board. And that's something that we're going to be continuing on with further retreats and training. So just a reminder again, the next meeting is March 16th at 6 p.m. right here. Given the agenda, we might move it a little bit earlier, but if we do, we'll announce that well in advance. And I do have a meeting tomorrow with Jonah just to go over getting a little bit more out about the comment section and how we can start getting a little bit more publicity out for, not really publicity, but word of mouth out about CPARB and start getting engagement with the community.
The listening session was June 22nd?
June 24th.
4th, okay.
Yeah, we don't have specific times or location. We've talked about some of the different schools here and some other options, so we'll bring that in our meeting in March. We hope to.
Yeah, it's a long way away. I just wanted to get it.
Yeah, but it's not that far away.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So,
great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now we invite Lieutenant Cam Grandy to come
Good
and talk
evening.
with us.
Thank you for having me. Again, my name is Lieutenant Camilo Grandy. I am the Lieutenant of the Bennington Police Department. Thank you for having me here tonight. The Chief sends his regrets not being able to be here. He really wanted to be here tonight to talk about the visions, and he sent me here instead. But he did say that, you wanted to hear from me more often, so here I am. I promise you that I will use the allotted time that I have. I won't go beyond. I am not the speaker that he is. So as everybody knows, Bennington Police continue to be very, very busy. You've seen the headlines in the paper and in the media. I'm not really going to go into any detail on that, but as you reading those headlines, you know that we're extremely busy. The chief and I continue to train alongside CPARB members and Brian Corr. We are working on completing the procedure sections of the quality control and internal investigation policy. During this past Saturday's CPARB training that we attended, unfortunately, I had to leave halfway through it. The chief remained, but I wasn't able to stay the whole thing. We discussed the process of developing the procedures for that policy. We will, once that policy is completed, we will send those procedures to CPARB for their March meeting, so they can review it with their members. Once the procedures are complete, they'll be added to the policy, and they will be reviewed by all members of the Bennington Police Department. The chief has provided a statistical summary of all internal investigations and complaints that were received in 2022. There were, of that summary, there were 6 internal affair investigations. We were asked for that information that was provided. We also provided some information on compliments that Bennington Police Department receives. We receive far more compliments than we do complaints, and we're proud of that. Prior to mid-2022, we really didn't track the complaints, the compliments. The compliments part of those, usually what would happen is that we would receive that compliment, and then we would, for an individual officer or communication specialist, we would turn that over to the employee, making a copy for them. So now we have changed that. We're keeping a copy of those as well. After giving it to the employee and it goes into their personnel file, we now track that. Like I said, in 2022, we had 15 compliments that we tracked, that we retained, and I'm sure there are far more than that we, prior to starting to track that. We don't have a requirement to track compliments, just the complaint process. So we will be working with CPARB in the future to develop that tracking of compliments. We have to provide a statistical annual report of complaints, but not compliments, as it stands right now.
Oops, that's our error, because I thought we were going to do that. Okay.
And this is a process that we're all learning. And that was one of the things that we as preparing this report for CPARB, we didn't have that statistical. We've kept them all the internal affairs and complaints, but never really thought of tracking compliments. And again, as we learned, that we don't do a very good job selling ourselves, but we're working on that. Any questions about CPARB? Great, moving on. Some very exciting news. We're pleased to announce that we have completed the process for 2 new patrol officers. Allison Farney and Joyce Ann Peckham started working this week. They were sworn in a couple of weeks ago. So they have started their process, their onboarding process with administration, policies, procedures, that kind of thing. And then they will be going off on August 14th to the Level 2 basic training. They'll spend 2 weeks at the Vermont Police Academy. For the Level 2, they'll come back to the Bennington Police Department. They'll work with field training officers and administration over the summer, and getting additional training, field training, to law enforcement trainings. They will eventually go off to the Vermont Police Academy in August for their Level 3, and then come out in late November, and then they will eventually do another field training to see what they learned, to see if they retained information that they learned at the Level 3, and then eventually they will be released off field training. So hopefully sometime early 2024, we'll have 2 new officers out on the road working with the community. Moving on, employee health and wellness. The chief and I have been meeting with UCS on so that all members of the department receive the annual mental health services. We have been meeting back and forth with them on the contract and how we are going to implement this. We've had 3 meetings with them and working on our final one to get that program moving forward. The chief is also working on, as part of this employee wellness, is having a nutritionist come in and meet with all employees on the benefits of a balanced diet. I think it's because he's trying to limit my coffee intake, but we'll see. As spring slowly, well, supposed to be coming, but the spring and summer events are starting to make their way, and we're starting to see our event calendars fill up very quickly. You heard Jenny here earlier talking about what they're going to be doing, and that involves the police, and we're happy to be involved in that. But so we're starting to meet with organizers to get those programs into place and ready for the community. 2023 New Experience Camp sessions, planning sessions have begun. We met with members of the department. It was decided that we were going to continue with the New Experience Camps this year. There was some concerns about whether or not we would be able to meet those, meet the camp because of staffing, and the members decided that this is just way too important not to continue, and you know, they decided that they want to continue with the camp. So this year's camp will be July 10th through the 14th. We anticipate having the applications available on April 24th for pickup at the Bennington Police Department. We'll also be working with the Bennington's Communication Coordinator, Jonas Spivak, on having the applications available on the town's new website, which would be a first for us. So looking forward to getting that up on the new website and working with Jonah. The chief and I worked with our staff on a fiscally responsible 2024 budget. And we asked the Bennington community to come out and vote in favor of the town budget on March 7th. Any questions?
Yeah. So first, let's start with any questions from the board?
I have a question.
Sure.
You said you have 2 new officers coming on board, and how many more are we looking for?
We have one other person that has expressed interest with the department from another state, and we are working with that person on giving them more information on the benefits of working for the Bennington Police Department, but just one more at this point.
So we're still down, I think it's 4 or 5.
With these 2, we are down 6.
Other questions? Okay, I guess we're going down.
Cam, are the 2 women, are they from Bennington?
One is from Bennington, and the other one is just over the line in New York State.
Good. New York City?
No, right over in the from Rensselaer County.
Oh, I see. Okay. Good.
Gee, okay.
Okay. One of them is just a favor, a
Sure.
question. Would it be possible to notify select board members when there's a swearing in? I think some of us would really like to go to those.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. And then the other thing, I'm curious, have any members of the police department been hesitant to participate meeting with the UCS counselor, or is everybody totally on board and they're more than willing to do it?
So that was a concern of the chief and myself as well. We have not received any pushback from that, but you know, there are other options that that the town offers, the employee assistance program. Mm-hmm. You know, those are they're available to members of the town, but they also they could ask for that, but we also could make that request for them. We are doing this in a way so that everybody is involved in this, and no one person is singled out. And what it does is it removes that stigma. You know, we all talk about stigma and how important it is, and we feel that this is beneficial. We spoke about some of the people that are very interested across the country about the program that we're starting, that want to write articles about that. Spoke to that gentleman today. You know, it's really important that we offer this and that we have our staff going in and meeting with mental health professionals and nutritionists. Even if they just sit there, they can talk whatever they want to talk about, whatever there's on their mind for that day. And if they identify that they need additional conversations, we'll make that happen.
That's good to hear.
Two things, Cam. One, after you finish with policy and procedures that you spoke about with working with CPARB, your intention is to publish that on the town's website with the other ones that we've. Once it's all together.
Once it's finalized, that is correct.
Okay, good. Just wanted everybody else to know that. And secondly, I can't remember what year it was, but you provided us with wonderful data regarding traffic stops and searches, et cetera. And I know
traffic stop data.
Yes. And now that we're almost into the third month, and my recollection is that you are the data person who does that kind of thing. Is that still correct?
You had to remind me about that.
I know. I hate to bring up bad.
Yeah, I am that person. So the data is complete for 2020, 2021. We have until August to reconcile data for 2022. And
right.
let me explain a little bit how that works. This is traffic stop data. And the way this works is that we had the Spillman CAD RMS system. And in 2019, the chief and I took training on how to better extract that information from the CAD RMS system. And that's when our data started looking like real data. I mean, it was reconciled, we were doing it right. And then we changed to the Valcor program in January 2nd of 2022.
Right.
That is a completely different animal on extracting that data, and I'm still working on how to perfect that.
Yes.
How to
compare apples and oranges.
That's correct. Yes. So the 2020 and 2021 is available. It's been provided, and that should be going up on our website. The 2020 I believe it was up on our old website, but I'm not sure about the new town website.
But so it should be going. We're hoping that it will go up on the website relatively soon.
Correct.
I'm wanting folks to look for it.
Correct.
Okay. Good. And somehow you'll give the board anyway a heads up regarding your progress on trying to make 2022. I know.
I have to August to perfect it. So.
I know you do. I know you have to. I'm not pushing you on that.
I'm pushing myself, trust me.
I hear you. Okay. Thank you.
Bruce, I should note that information was provided to CPARB just before their last meeting. On the flash drive, I also have a copy of the flash drive, and we'll use that to get it up on the website.
Okay, good. I think it belongs in public domain. I think it'd be good for everybody.
Agreed.
Yeah, I know you would.
Can I just ask, so, we often talk about how slow the training process is and that it also isn't particularly adaptable or flexible for people who already have credentials coming in from other states and things like that. Is there talk in the legislature of addressing this and looking at other ways to accomplish the training in a more
The waiver process?
Oh,
Is that what
waiver
you're-
process or?
Yeah, so the waiver process, so right now, the Academy's focus, and I don't think I'm speaking on their behalf, just basically what's been told to us, or at least me, is that the Academy's process, their focus right now is on getting level 3 officers certified, meaning having as many, they're telling us that they will not turn down any applicant that, a successful applicant, and that they will have this class that's going to go in on August is going to be extremely large class, and they're trying to hold as many level 3 classes as possible.
And so that would be, but our 2 newest officers have to go through the level 2 before they can go to the level 3.
So what we do is we've done something a little different. We've identified 2 candidates. They successfully navigated through the hiring process, and as the chief said the last time, they did just an amazing job during the interviews and the oral boards, and their backgrounds were just amazing. And so because the class that's going on right now, we would never have been able to get them in, would not have been able to secure a seat for them. So what we do is that we get them on staff, train them to a level 2 officer. They continue to work with Bennington Police Department field training officers. They are certified training officers, and they will work and they will do functions of a law enforcement officer because they will have certain law enforcement powers. Some things they can do, some things they can't do, some things they only can do if they're with a field training officer. But with the goal of getting them the most amount of experience, training that they can before they go to that level 3 school, so they are successful in that level 3 school.
Oh, okay. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah has a question.
Excuse me, my back is really not great today, so I'm just muscling through this. How do you see, or if any, community helping with current work, recruitment or retention, or just kind of either staying out of the way?
You know, we encourage anybody in the community that would like to have a vocation in public service to at least come look at our website, look what it's, do your research with Bennington Police Department, do your research with the Vermont Criminal Justice Council, understanding what it takes to become a Vermont certified law enforcement officer, understand what it is to be a Bennington police officer, and then if anybody has questions, send them our way and we'll answer the questions. I have several we have several officers within the department that want to start recruitment drives. They're very, very their initiative. They've taken the initiative to develop kind of their own policy and guidelines to be recruitment officers. So there is a lot of interest in that. But again, if there's anybody in the community that has any interest of being a Bennington police officer and they have questions, pick up the phone, give us a call. We'll certainly like to talk to them, or just go to our website and see what we're all about.
I have 2 minutes, so I'm going to use all the time. I just want to make sure, and I think I know the answer to this, more for the public than for myself. After the horrific situation in Memphis, there was a lot of talk about this special unit that these officers were a part of, and that they feel like that was part of the culture that precipitated the events there. I'm just wanting to make sure we have no such thing here.
No, we do not.
Thank you.
All right, questions from the community? Yes, Ed.
If I could just make a comment.
Well, you have to come up, though.
Yeah. And you have to introduce yourself.
So you all know that I'm the presiding officer for the Village of Old Bennington.
You have to introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Ed Woods. I'm a Old Bennington resident, and I'm the presiding officer of the Village of Old Bennington. I wanted to thank the lieutenant, the chief, and the town manager for a very heavy lift on an agreement that allows Bennington residents the additional police security that they have voted for years ago and have agreed to pay for through their additional Old Bennington tax. I know you guys were all aware of that, but it was a pretty heavy lift under the direction of a new police commissioner, Old Bennington, who came out of banking regulation and would not let us not have a buttoned-up agreement. So thank you all for the work done on that.
Any other questions from? Okay, come on up.
My first question to you is...
First, introduce yourself.
My name's Donald Washam.
Thank you.
Live in Bennington, Gage Street. My first question is, you spoke earlier about internal affairs and complaints and compliances. And they both sound like they kind of go hand in hand. I mean, you know, it's nice to get compliments from police or police getting compliments from the public. But, you know, there's other incidents that we've had that took place here. And that's one of the reasons I asked you about the internal affairs. You said there was 6 incidents?
Six investigations that were opened up, that is correct.
And I know you can't comment about lawsuits, but there's a few lawsuits against the town, right?
I can't comment on lawsuits.
Okay.
But you know what I want, so if you ask a question, Donald, then you step aside and then Cam can go
Okay,
to
well, I don't have any
microphone,
problem
and
with
that way,
I mean,
no,
you
and
know.
that way Cat TV catches it. So
Yeah.
if you just step back, then Cam can come in.
So you know, it's a good question. There is a difference between someone making an official complaint with the Bennington Police Department and someone taking civil litigation. So there is a difference between those two.
Okay. And as far as the compliments, so you think that the people in Bennington, at least the ones who participate in surveys, feel that the police officers are doing a decent job, for the most part?
I do.
Okay. No, that's a fair question. You know, fair answer. The budget. I'm in disagreement with it, and I'll tell you why.
Wait,
You know,
are you talking about the police department budget?
no.
Oh, so a broader question, this is only the police department, so
Oh, well,
Cam doesn't get to speak for the.
Okay. Well, I don't get to speak for the town. You know, you talked about the special units. I think that's a good thing. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions from the community? Yes, come on up. Introduce yourself.
Hello, Jack Rossiter Munley. I'm from here in Bennington. Out of curiosity, I don't know if you would know, you mentioned the 6 internal affairs investigations that were opened up. How do you know how that compares to other similarly sized departments or other departments within the state of Vermont?
I can't discuss all Vermont law enforcement agencies, but I can tell you one of the largest ones in Vermont only had 18.
Other questions? Yes, come on up. We've got to figure something else out.
Yeah. Put it in the center.
Get some steps in.
Debbie Bennington. I have a scanner, and I hear a good chunk of the calls that police officers are called to, and I was wondering if it is a possibility in the future that requirements might be for officers to take some type of mental health training or whatever. Because the calls I hear are not really what I would consider police work, which I don't know if you can agree or disagree with me, but I don't know if the COVID added to it or what, but I didn't know if it was going to become part of the curriculum to be an officer.
So sure, I can answer that. The Vermont Criminal Justice Council does provide a limited training when they, for the level 2 and level 3 officers on mental health. It's a very small amount over all the hours they spend at the academy. But I can tell you is in 2022, under the leadership of Chief Doucette, Bennington police officers and dispatchers, actually all members of our department, received anywhere from 8 to 16 additional hours of mental health first responder training. We sent all our supervisors over to New York. They took a supervisory level mental health first responder type training, and then we took so much from that training that Chief Doucette decided that he wanted to bring that training to the entire department, which was done.
I think this is a good area to be in.
You need to come up to the mic, and you have to introduce yourself again.
Donald Washam.
Thank
you.
you.
I mean, I'm, you know, the only Italian in the room. I think.
I didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay.
No. I think mental health is something that a lot of people overlook. And I appreciate the questions that were asked. Because when you said, a lot of people don't know sitting here, the average training for a police officer, even when they're in the academy, is like 2 to 4 hours. 2 to 4 hours. You're dealing with people. And you know as well as I do, you know, you meet this guy, you meet that person, this person. So you've got to always be changing. And I mean, you know, for your officers, I mean, I give them a lot of credit. I mean, it's a tough gig, you know, and I just would encourage your police department and Mr. Doucette to continue to put funding and resources in that area, because it's going to make your department a better department.
I agree with you. You know, the chief is currently working with state officials on a project. I don't want to go too deep into it, but it addresses some of the concerns that you just said. But there are things that are being advocated for right now by Chief Doucette, and hopefully with with meetings that are coming up, that there will be someone listening on the other end.
Right. You have a question?
I do. Something came to my mind. Where are we on the social worker grant that you spoke of one of the last times for victims of?
Yeah. So the human trafficking case
human
manager,
trafficking. Yes. Thank you.
That position is filled, like we've spoke of. There is a person doing casework currently. But after conversations with the program manager and other advocates, we have decided that we're going to not make that a public figure, just out of because of the work they do.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that. I just want to know how the work is going.
It's going really, really well. Working very well with the officers. This position has, she's put out a training video or PowerPoint for all the officers and dispatchers to watch, and a little bit about what she does and how she accomplishes the tasks that she's been handed, and it's doing exactly what we anticipated.
Great. That's good to know.
Great. Any other questions? All right. Well, Lieutenant, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very informative.
Thanks.
And we'll move on to the manager's report.
Yes, thank you. We have actually 3 action items. One was placed on the table before you, and Jenny Dewar has already addressed it, so I'll deal with that one first. The BBC is looking for a letter of support from the town of Bennington for an application to the Better Places Grant to fund the 2023 Street Banner Program. I prepared a very brief letter that would be signed by the chair, should the board approve it this evening. But she pretty much has explained it all to you, and I leave it to you to decide whether or not to support it. I'm assuming you will.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The second, I'm moving from the bottom to the top on this case. This is the 5th Annual Food Truck Festival, which is coming to us August 12th of 2023 from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. It's a Saturday. It is also the Saturday of the Bennington Battle Day weekend. So we expect this to be a very, very busy event. The festival group is asking to close School Street from Main to Pleasant Street, and a portion of Pleasant Street from North to School from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. on that day. The chief and lieutenant have reviewed this request and are prepared to support it, and so I'm looking for a motion to close the streets designated for the hours designated above.
Second.
Great. Any discussion? So, I mean, it worked really well. Whenever we closed those two streets before,
I think that was Harvest Fest.
Was it Harvest Fest?
Yes,
Yeah.
because I
That
worked
seemed
that
to work
corner
well. Yeah.
at really early in the morning.
Yeah.
You worked that corner.
Yeah. Exceptionally early in the morning.
Well, I was there early in the morning too, when the car went through the barricade.
Yes, I
because
understand
of the
that.
sun rising, yes. Yes. So, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I
Okay,
abstain.
super. Oh, you're abstaining, yes. Good idea.
Do you want to explain your abstention?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm abstaining because this is an event that I co-founded. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last, and certainly not the most exciting, I'm requesting that the board approve an amendment to the Bennington County Solid Waste Plan, the Solid Waste Implementation Plan, I should say. The Bennington County Solid Waste Alliance is in the process of constructing, using state grant funds and funds from the municipalities, the 13 municipalities that participate in the Solid Waste Alliance, to construct a household hazardous waste collection facility at the Bennington Transfer Station. In order to do that, we need to amend the Solid Waste Implementation Plan because that was not contemplated, I think it was 2 years ago when the plan was approved. So I'm looking for a motion to amend the SWIP as proposed.
I would move the amendment of our solid waste implementation plan, refraining from saying SWIP.
Yes. It's a terrible name.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, good.
That's all I have.
That's great, okay. All right, upcoming agendas. So maybe we have the Bennington Sports Foundation on the next agenda? And then the agenda after that, we're gonna do the solar.
It looks like March 27th will be the Chelsea Solar project.
Okay.
There was a postponement requested there. It was expected to go off this evening, but that remains to be seen.
Stuart, can I ask a quick question? Who, for the record, who specifically asked for the postponement?
Chelsea Solar did, the Malone family.
Thank you. I'll just register my displeasure. They had a presentation apparently for the board, for the previous board, and should have had one for us.
They actually, the reason for the continuation request or postponement was because they have made an offer to the Apple Hill group, and Apple Hill won't be able to consider that, I think, until March 15th.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
And so
slightly better, but still.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Yeah.
Just a quick question. So when will we be discussing this also that's what I was here for today. I wasn't aware that was postponed.
Oh, yeah, so it's not on the
My
agenda. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. So when is the date?
So the
27th.
The 27th, unless
Tentatively
something
March
happens.
27th.
Of March. Just change the month.
But
Sorry about
definitely
it.
check the agenda packet.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might want to check
Yes.
before.
Look online always,
Or in the banner.
or in the banner, but yeah. Front Porch Forum,
Yep. Okay, so sorry about that.
That had been our expectation as well.
sorry,
That had been our expectation as well.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, anything else? Then, other business, Gary, any?
Absentee ballots are available at the town office. Vote.
Tom?
And also, early voting ballots are available at the town office. Please vote.
I want to take a moment to congratulate our Mount Anthony wrestling team for the unprecedented 34th consecutive state championship. I congratulate the coaches, the athletes, but most of all the parents who schlepped their kids to wrestling matches and early morning wrestling on the weekends here. And it's just incredible. 34 consecutive years. Again, congratulations.
Great. Jean?
Come to town meeting here, March 6th. Not quite sure exactly when, but somewhere around 7.
It is scheduled for 7 a.m.
Yeah.
6
7
p.m.
p.m.
I'm sorry.
Speaking of early.
I don't do anything
I'll be
good
up
at
at
7
7
a.m.
It won't be before 7
I won't.
p.m. It could be later, but not early.
Okay,
It will
good.
never be before 7 p.m. on
Forgive
that
me.
day.
Yeah.
7 a.m.
And vote on March 7th at the firehouse here, or if you live in North Bennington, at the train station. Both places are open from 7 in the morning to 7 at night.
Super. Sarah?
I'll echo that. Vote early, vote often, but not in the same election.
In addition to voting, I just want everybody to know, if you haven't heard already, that the community market will open on Thursday, March 9th at an 11 o'clock a.m. Ribbon cutting, and the market will open immediately following the cutting of that ribbon.
Fantastic.
So that's really good news. And I hope to see many people at the polls.
All right, voting is the theme for the evening. So, all right, with that, could I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.